let's go back to this one and see what happens. We've got 28 seconds. Was supposed to go on first, but hey, didn't go on first. So let's do that. Just wait a second here. I'll get the rest of my stuff organized. A couple papers. Neat stuff happening, and I'll do my best. Okay, let's try that. This is James Maduke speaking. Welcome to another live webcast. This is what we're going to cover today. You got an idea for a course, you have a course, you're trying to figure out how do I sell it, what should I do with it, how should it fit into my business. So what I'd like to do today is just that. We're going to go over all things about building an education business, building a training site, building a membership site, what to do with your courses. And I know this can be a challenge. I've run into it myself. We help clients doing this as well. So I just want to make sure that we're all on the same track there. And we've got this at the end of it that you can say, okay, I understand where courses fit in, where teaching online fit in, where memberships fit in, where all of these different pieces make sense. I want to make sure that we can, that you can answer those questions and find out, hey, do I need a course or courses, or should I actually be building a campus, which is hopefully my goal for you as well. Now, one of the things, I'm just going to reach over on the other side here to go take a look. One of these things I always do is, if you're not familiar with these live webcasts or these live sessions, I use a tool called Ecamm, and there's a lot of moving pieces around. It's just here in my office right now. There's no producer, no one else helping out here. So a lot of buttons going on, switches, all sorts of things. And I always try and make sure that not only is it running properly, and I have all the pieces in place, it's that, we're in a situation that there's no errors that show up while we get going. So the first thing that I always do is I always go and double check and make sure that the training, or actually the sound, is coming out during this. So I'm going to look over on the other side here, try and open up another one of these webcast pieces here, go take a look at it, and just go and double check. This whole thing with learning online is kind of interesting, because I think that's a huge opportunity for anyone who's a subject matter expert, or someone who has really spent some time playing around with this and has something that they're passionate about and excited about, and want to share some time with it. So this is an exciting time for people. I think it's a great way for a company and or person who is or does want to share that they actually can do that. It's, as a content creator, someone who's that is excited about this and wants to learn about it, it is a wonderful time. And also, on the flip side of that, it is a great opportunity to earn some money doing it. That option, of course, is up to you. And we'll talk about that. I've actually got, and I'll show you the link on this. If you are watching this, you have questions, put them in the comments. If you're on YouTube, if you're on LinkedIn, message me. You can obviously go and sign up at the trainingsites.io site. It's free to join there as well. This is actually, I'm going to hold this up. This is actually, let me just do this here. So this is actually part of, hopefully I can get the focus in there. Yeah. So this is the campus blueprint that we have, and you can go download that, and also book a time to chat with me about your course or your campus. But I've got a lot of stuff to go over, so I just wanted today make sure go over the 8 kind of key pieces or main pieces that are available to us there. So that's the important part, is making sure that we cover those 8 pieces. So let's take a look at that and see what actually happens with our pieces. And what are the pieces? There we go. There's our campus kind of picture. I'm going to go through, this is the PDF actually, a part of the PDF that you actually get to download. I'll just move it up a little bit. Now this, I call it a campus blueprint, And it goes through 8 pieces, and I'll go through these quickly and then we'll get into some of the details with them. So you have a course, you're thinking about a course and you're going, man, what a great idea. I want to earn some money. I want to be independently wealthy with a course. And most people go right to the course. They don't get involved in all of the important part that has to happen before. A lot of people jump right to the course and creating a course, or maybe they've done something in the past that they can turn into the course and they want to jump right to the course. The very, very first thing that you have to do is not the course. And in fact, if you take a look at this, building the course is step 6. The 8 steps, and here they are in order. First thing is you've got to go and do some campus planning. And the reason I call it campus is we're going to get into that, and it has to do with the 5 C's, the very, very first piece of this. So we'll spend some time with that. Number 2, pick your business model. The type of business model that is supporting or supports the planning that you're doing can dramatically change the type of course or courses that you need to do. The kind of course, not the actual course content, but the standard course checklist or the type of course is also before creating the course. The other thing is learning tracks. Number 4 is learning tracks. Is this part of, or how do these courses fit in to what you're trying to teach or help people learn? You have to have a place to set it up, a delivery for the particular courses. So you've got to set up a campus. Sorry, number 3. Sorry, I went in wrong order. So number 1, campus planning. Number 2, picking the business model. Number 3, setting up the campus. Number 4, building the learning tracks. Number 5, create a standard course checklist. Number 6 is, what's number 6? Number 6 is building the actual course. And then after that, we've got marketing your campus and courses. And then the 8th part is community rewards and engagement. So there's 8 actual steps in this whole kind of process that we teach with the campus blueprint. And they're all really important if you are treating this as a business. And that's the first caveat I want to make sure that that you understand with me, is that we're in a position right now where you've got to look at this and say to yourself, you're going to have to say, is this going to be something I'm going to do for fun? Or is this something that I'm going to do because I want to build a business with it, or I want to earn income from it? And that's actually a different question as well. Is it a business you're building, or is it earning income? And we'll get into that distinction in a little bit as well. So these are the 8 steps that have to happen. You absolutely will end up doing them if it's not a hobby. If you're having it as part of your business, you're going to end up taking these 8 steps at some point. You're going to end up being involved or doing subsets or sections of these 8 steps. This is something that we've run into over the last 20 years, creating digital learning material online, from the early days of writing a text and saving it as a PDF, or doing multimedia ebooks or podcasts or video tutorials. 20 some years of teaching, and before that they were live in-class teaching of courses and sales material that we put together. But all of these things are things that you're going to be involved in. So, and as much as you look at it, and you may go to YouTube, you may read or download some particular materials from other suppliers or other people who are teaching this material, they're going to talk about courses. And what I don't want to do is I don't want you to focus on courses yet, if in fact you're treating this as part of your business and you're selling courses. Now, I'm going to make one kind of distinction with selling courses. And this is something, again, that has come with our experience dealing with customers. And you have to remember, Training Sites, my business, the way that we have this set up is we have materials that we sell. So information products, digital courses, all of those pieces that are in a traditional internet marketing or digital product sales. But we also have our agency side, where we actually do this for people. The other piece that map that you're looking at right now on the screen, The other thing I did, and might be able to show this to you here, is, where is it? Yeah. So I've got 7 pages. If I expanded that mind map that we put together, there's 270 points on this. Is it stuff that we teach? Yeah, absolutely. You can take a course on this, but we have a lot of clients that go, I don't want anything to do with the course. I just want you to do it for me. So our agency actually does creates or goes through all of these steps with people. You can learn how to do it yourself if you have the time, energy, and you want to make that effort. If you just want it done for you, we can do that for you as well. So there are people that go through to sell it, but there's also companies that we find that they maybe have vendors or resellers or internal employees, and they have to create courses and or learning materials and get their staff or their other people that are involved in their business, they have to take them to complete or finish the courses. Maybe it's a certification. Maybe it's just an onboarding and training material that they have to get involved with. So that's what I'm talking about when I'm talking about, is it part of your business or are you doing it as a revenue income? These are the kind of steps you will take. If it's just something that you're doing for fun, because you like making courses and like teaching online and you're not really interested in marketing it, you're just kind of doing it, yeah, you'll probably might end up going right to the course and then telling the people about the course. It's all about the content for you. But if it's part of the business, you're going to have to make sure that you're really upfront and have a good handle on what is it that I'm actually going to focus on. So let's take a look at these briefly. I've been going, 12 minutes. I don't know how long we'll go today. I'll do my best to make sure that we cover what we can as quickly as possible. And let's do that first with campus planning. And again, in the map, this is a PDF that you download. You might see there's a little number underneath each of these particular little things. We got number 2, number 2, number 3, number 4, number 3. And if I actually opened up the map, the mind map that goes with these, you'd see there's 2 subpoints, 2 subpoints, 2 subpoints, and the maps actually expand out to additional pieces of information. And some of them can get quite detailed. As an example, we've got course access rules. We've got 10, for example, that are in there. Some of the other ones below, for example, I know in the right-hand one, talking about course materials and stuff, there's 6, 4, 8, 3. There's just a lot of material that's available in here. So we'll try and cover at least the identity part at front, where it gets started, how it fits in, and go from there. And if you do have any questions, book some time with me and I'll do my best to see how they apply to your project. So here's the very, 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 very first thing that I want you to consider. And those are the 5 C's. So what are the 5 C's? The first one is you have to look and say, am I doing a course or am I building a community? And are you doing one, the other, or both? I'll give you an example of how this may work or may not work. So I may have mentioned this before. One of the other areas that we focus on, and I'll just minimize this, we'll go back to, is on this one. Let me go to my community site, and that one is called My Pickleball Friends. So this is a project that we put together that is about building a community, not selling courses. So on this particular site, if we went in and I wanted to log in as a user, I can log in as a user. This one is in many respects. Let me open it up here, we'll get in. The focus on this one, we've just launched this one, it's starting to build a community. And building the community means it's about the members, it's about questions, about profiles, about resources for people who are pickleball fans, and it's not about selling the courses. We do have some courses, but the courses are not the focus of it. Now, courses and community, a lot of that part fits into the business model, which is what we're talking about in the planning here. So here's one, you got friends, groups, events, directories of clubs, associations, vendors, activities, what's going on. This is all about the community, not about the courses. So that's kind of one approach to it. Let's make sure I'm in the right place here. There we go, back. So courses or community. The other one is if you're looking at courses and community, you have to decide on what am I going to be marketing? And those additional 3 C's, is it course or courses? Are you going to have classes? And are this going to be in the form of a campus? And let me give you an example of that and why it's important. Many times, all of the pieces that come after this have to do with whether or not you're going to sell a course or courses. And there's actually, my personal belief on this, or the way that I think that it happens, is you've got a situation where there's a number of different types of courses available now. And this type of course that we're talking about is the length of course. So I've seen micro courses, mini courses, and mastery courses are kind of the 3 breakdowns on it. Some of the mini courses that you may say, am I going to try and sell a mini course? Am I going to try and sell a micro course? Or do I need a mastery course? Is the topic that I have something that is so expansive that it should be in the form of multiple courses? Or should it be one big course? So you've got to decide up front is, am I focusing on courses that transfer knowledge, the teaching, or am I figuring out, do I want to be more involved in the community aspect of it, user-generated content? And then you have to decide, am I going to be doing a course or courses? What it is that I know? Do I want to build a course and sell a course, or do I want to have multiple courses? Where does that fit in? The other thing is you got to make that decision. You have to decide, okay, I've got these courses or courses. Is it just an online course that I need? Do I have to provide classes, cohorts, or do I have to have blended learning where I'm involved with the people who are taking the course with me or that I'm trying to teach? These are all things that are dramatically different on the way that the material is presented, and more importantly, how you are providing what it is that you're providing, or what it is that you're teaching, or what it is that you're trying to transfer in terms of knowledge for people. So you've got to have those 5 C's up front and make sure that you understand, am I focusing on course or community? Am I going to be doing course or courses? Am I going to have classes or blended learning and cohorts, a group of people learning together? And am I going to have to focus on building a campus, not necessarily a community? And a campus includes all of those things. Courses, community, cohorts, classes. That's what campuses are all about. And this is where I think things are going, is that you're in a situation where you can answer those 5 C's up front, because making a decision on those determines everything after that. Now here's an example of it. A lot of times when people go to courses, they go, okay, great, I have an idea for a course. I'm going to create a course and I need somewhere to sell it. So I'm going to go to my WordPress site or some other software as a service that allows me to do courses and sell courses. And that's all I need to work about. I got my course content. I got a place to sell it. Just go out and talk to people about it. It'll sell. Selling a course is really, really hard right now. So planning the campus beforehand. And number 2 is picking the business model that supports what it is that you want to do. And that campus planning area, or that section that you're talking about in all of the research that's in the step number 1 campus planning, is the stuff that helps you pick the business model. Now you can see I only talked about 5 C's in campus planning. There's a whole bunch of additional material there. And in fact, this campus blueprint is part of our Training Site Campus Mastery course, which is an extensive big course that's available to you if you want to learn how to do this all yourself. And it covers all of these sections. I'm just talking about the 5 C's when planning out. There's additional steps that you're going to have to take, like making sure that you have a big fat claim or something that you can promise people. You're going to have to do something called a topical authority map, which we've built out and we build out for you to make sure that you have the questions that your customers or potential students are asking. And type of teaching required to do that. I was talking about blended learning and doing cohorts or group sessions or group lessons, whether it needs to be one course and self-paced, or you need to do step-by-step courses and what you want to do on that planning. These are all things that you have to think about before you get into picking your business model. Now, I wanted to talk about number 2 because I want to get these done as best I can with all of them. Number 2 is about picking your business model. Now, the great thing is that as you play around with this and you're spending time with these, is you take a look at it and you're on number 2. It's like, is it a course or is your campus the hub of your business? Is that the main place that you want to focus on? And courses and other revenue streams are ancillary to the hub? Or is selling a course just kind of part of something else that you're doing? In our particular example, selling courses is not necessarily the hub. Our agency is the hub, and selling courses or building a community or campus is ancillary to it. But you should really decide up front is, where does this course or campus fit into my business? Is it something that I'm relying on to generate the revenue I need to run my business or grow my business? Or is it just something that is ancillary to? Now, why do you want to do this? The type of courses that you create and the type of canvas or campus that you create is determined by where it fits into that business model, whether it's a hub part of your business or it is a spoke of multiple spokes. And I'm a big fan of hub and spoke marketing. Talked about this for over 20 years now, but if you think of kind of that main structure, the main part of your business, and each of the revenue streams that you have as spokes of that particular hub, like a big wheel or Ferris wheel, and if you can move your customers around all of the spokes and get them circling around, you've got a great way to get people into the hub and generate real revenue from them on all of those spokes, directing them into the high ticket or the real part of your business, which is the hub. So you got to kind of decide and play around with, hub and spoke businesses. Where do I fit in? And when you do that, that completely changes some of the other points that are in number 2. How do you want to charge for your courses? Are you offering membership levels? What are the different pricing models that you have? And what are the documented deliverables or things that you are going to promise to give to people based on where they are and what the campus planning is? And again, we go into all sorts of details on here, whether you're doing one-off prices or bundle prices or, lifetime prices or subscriptions or, are you doing a different business model is number 2. And then figuring out, how does this all fit into what I want to do, what I want to have working for my business. So if you're just joining us, I'm going to have a little sip of coffee here. If you're just joining us, my name's James from Training Sites IO. We run these on a regular basis, and there's lots of other great material and live training, live webcasts at trainingsites.io. So you're certainly welcome to go and join there. Ask any questions, and if you do want to go and download the blueprint, it's at trainingsites.io/blueprint. You can go download this and get it. You can also book an appointment, a one-on-one call with me if you want to go do that. And if you're watching on LinkedIn, the other thing is we started doing these live ones on LinkedIn. Actually, this is the first one. It's on the personal profile. So what I need to do is, if you haven't already, go and subscribe to our business channel, which is on the personal profile. You see the 2 business pages. Go pick the one, Training Sites, and I would like if you could do that so that we can get these live streams on that business page and not on the personal profile. So having said that, what's next? Got a campus plan, you put that together, it's part of the purpose. You know where it kind of fits into your business, and you've got some kind of way to pick a business model that supports the purpose of what you're doing with the course or your campus. The next one is you're going to have to go and set up some kind of campus. Now, when you're talking about setting up a campus, this is fundamentally changed by the business model and the campus planning. I'll give you an example. The first question that we take a look at, and if you look down in, let me just make sure we're in the right place here. But if you look down on the second one, learning management system, number 2 is there. That's the very, very first piece. And What I'm talking about for a learning management system is, are you going to have a learning management system that is self-hosted? And I'm talking about using WordPress and a whole bunch of plugins that we've got set up here, which is the one that I recommend. And then the second one is, am I going to be using software as a service? Am I going to be using a tool external to my business to keep this part of my business organized, or deliver my courses, or create my community? And I'll give you a couple of quick examples of that. For example, there's a platform called Kajabi that allows for running your entire business. It's software as a service. You pay on a monthly basis. It creates courses. It does email marketing. It keeps carrier contacts. Great platform, but it's external to you. It's something you pay to access. You may go, for example, to Teachable, or there's a number of other platforms that are specifically about hosting your website, your course content, and helping you market your content, maybe even build a little bit of community in the form of things like discussion boards and ways to interact with the instructor. Those particular ones have features that are unique to them. That's an example of one. So these are separate services that are external to perhaps your core business, which most people think of as a website. And the majority of people that I know, and most of the people that we deal with, are using WordPress. I think WordPress in North America is probably close to 50% of the websites, for business websites and even personal websites, are built on WordPress. So if you're building it on WordPress, that's a self-hosted and controlled platform for your courses, and campus. On the other hand, you may be using a service. And that's that whole kind of piece in the middle here about, how am I going to set up my campus? And again, that's determined by the business model and your planning. Which one's the best for you? Which fits into the campus planning and the business model? Which supports that the best? Both of them have strengths and weaknesses. My personal preference is to do it self-hosted, because I want to make sure that I own the content in the terms of my clients and customers and the interactions that I have with my students. I don't want to be renting space to do that. There's a whole bunch of different ways to do this, so don't focus on this yet until you've done those first two steps. And at this point, there's a huge stack of tools that are required, and this is the reason that we haven't even talked about creating a course yet. This stack of tools, or this way to deliver the course content, it can take some time. There's a number of different ways to do it. We have a stack of tools that we use on a regular basis that we're really comfortable with, that we know well, and we offer that as a done-for-you service. Whether that's the self-hosted one or even the tools that are external to your business, like the softwares as a service, any of these ones that I mentioned before, we can do that for you as well. But we're still going to do the part about the campus planning and the picking the business model. That has to be done. 3 steps we've done so far: campus planning, pick your business model, and setting up the campus. And a couple other things I just want to talk about in there. The tools that go with the campus that you're building. And I'm assuming you're going to have some courses and you're interested in, building out a community that has live learning plus courses, a place for you to teach online to individuals or groups, a way that's flexible. I'm assuming that you want to, set up your campus. The WordPress one, you're going to need some other pieces to it. And even if you're using the software as a service, you're going to find that it doesn't do everything that you need for the business model that you have and the type of campus that you're trying to build out. So there's things like shopping carts and community plugins and themes, and having CRMs or customer relationship management software tools set up with it. And then any other additional tools that you need to run your business. Am I going to do that external to myself? Am I going to do it internal? There's a whole stack of tools there. Don't focus on this yet. There are a lot of options. If you want to see some stacks or groupings of them that work really well in particular areas, we can show you how to do that. And I've done a couple of videos in the past on one of these things that's really, really a good example of this is if you have, or if you want to have multiple instructors, let's say you have a course, but you have other people in your organization and or other people that you want to have sell courses on your site or in your site for whatever reason. And the most part, it's because you want to share in the revenue. But if that's not the case, the whole idea is if you've got multiple instructors, the type of campus that you set up can be completely different. And that's why, again, you want to make sure that you've got a good picture of what you want to do, and which tools that you're going to use to deliver that can be determined by it. And multiple instructors is one classic example, because some of the services just don't allow for multiple instructors. Some of the ones that are WordPress based just are very difficult to create multiple instructors. So again, really, really, really important to do your homework before you set up that campus. When you're ready to set up the campus, make sure that you do it in a way that supports all of those. So what's that? What's next after that? I got number 4. I got to build a learning track. And what is a learning track? And here's the thing when we go back to courses community. In many cases, as an example that's here, we're looking at this map. And if I were to, kind of zoom this in, there's 8 actual sections that are here. If I'm having if I separate these all into courses, what order should I let people take courses in? Are there different parts or different sections of these that need to be done in a particular way? So I'll give you an example here. If we look up at the top, we've got campus planning and picking your business model. Technically, that could be the first track. People have to do that before they can go into setting up the campus, which could be number 3. We could look after that at 4, 5, and 6, where building the learning tracks, a course checklist, and building a course, which is another track. And you need these pieces or these separate steps as a learning track to go through. Other examples, building a course, the other one could be marketing and community and reward. So we could have 5 particular tracks or learning tracks, and we can split these up into sub-courses that people have to take before they can go. Another example of how this is done is with learning tracks is a beginner, intermediate, or pro. Maybe a learning track, for example, is taking a look at things like how you deliver the course. Learning track might be self-taught. It might be self-taught with group coaching. It might be self-taught with one-on-one coaching. Those are all different types of learning tracks with different outcomes that may be promised. And you got to go through those and make sure that you have in your head, how am I going to do this? Where does it fit into step number 1, where I'm able to make a big fat claim about a transformation that I'm promising to people by taking my course? I got a business model that supports different price levels for different tracks if I'm going to have that. And a course library. If you're doing more than one course, you're doing a mastery course, maybe some mini courses and some micro learning or micro courses. Take a look and say, where do these all fit in together? And this is all about these learning tracks is a real important part of building these out. So map course order, take a look at these steps. How do I organize in categories, for example, or tags, a library? How do I look at certification if I'm going to do something where I'm offering certification? How do I put that in? How does it fit in for the badges and stuff and gamification, which is a bit later? So you kind of think about these and go up front and figure out in step 4, what's the big picture here? Again, if I'm building out more than a course, if I want to treat this as a business, I want to have a campus or a community that I can use as another one of my revenue streams or the hub of my business. Figure out your learning tracks and get that up front. Once you've done that, then you got to go take a look at step number 5. And step number 5 is interesting because we haven't created any courses yet. But what you want to do on this one is you want to go take a look and you want to put together a standard structure or format or checklist for how you're going to teach these particular learning tracks or create these learning tracks. And you want to make sure that you have it in a way that is easily duplicatable. You want to have it in a way that you can replicate it across multiple courses, multiple tracks. Now, why is that? If I go back and take a look at a number of the courses that I did in the past, the type of courses that I've done in terms of how they were delivered is all different, but even the way that they were delivered, in terms of, you know, the technical format of them, how were they structured? How long were each of the sessions? Was there a course with lessons, or did I have a course with lessons and lessons with topics and lessons with sections? Did I have quizzes? There's all sorts of material that you need as a checklist that before you create the content, you have it set up that you know this is how we create our courses. And again, the courses that are there, you're looking at it and go, okay, I got a course. It goes back to, where does this fit into the learning track? What tools do I need to do it? How am I going to fit this into my business model? And number one is, how does this make or match or help my big fat claim about what it can do? Do I have the best outcome for my students, and am I able to teach that? Now, you notice in the first one, we didn't even cover these about ChatGPT topical authority maps, type of teaching required. These are all things that we look at when we're building out the standard course checklist. I'll give you an example of this that's an easy one to miss. So, and this is something in number one, big fat claim. I'm going to step back to this because it's important. If I go and I take a look at my big fat claim, I'm going to promise that at the end of this course, you are either going to be able to know something, or at the end of this course, you are going to be able to do something. So there's technically two courses or types of courses that are available right now. And the question is this a content course or is this an outcome course? So you got two kinds of courses. With all of the work on AI and ChatGPT and all the other tools that are available, content courses are really simple to create. And the type of way that a content course is delivered can be dramatically different than the way an outcome course can be delivered. So, what is the type of teaching that is required based on the type of course that you have? And more importantly, what is the type of teaching that's required to the type of learner that I have and the person that I'm promising the outcome to? I'm thinking about this and I go, okay, so if I'm creating a content course so that people know something at the end of the day, do they need text? Do they need text and infographics? Do they need audio? Do they need video? Do they need live assignments? What's needed to teach them or give them the outcome versus what's needed to provide the content to them? And I cover a whole section in this about where these two fit in, because in fact, I think content courses are the ones that are getting created today. And content courses, in my opinion, are tough courses to sell. And more importantly, they're not profitable because they're easily duplicatable by your competitors. And they don't necessarily reflect your experience and of what you've done. They don't promise an outcome. They just promise an organization of a particular bit of content. It's into the standard course list. If you know that you're doing outcome courses, how do you need to provide it? What is the goal of that course? What are the lessons and topics, quizzes, assignments that I need to do to promise that particular outcome? How do I design it in terms of the instructional design? Is it, again, static content that I'm just providing? Is it interactive content that I'm providing? Or is it blended learning and cohort content where people are interacting with each other, including the instructor? So is it actual lessons, topics, videos, quizzes, plus an instructor on a regular business doing live classes? And that's where the other C comes in, right? Classes. And then creating course titles, descriptions, and graphics. If you're having multiple courses, you've got to be able to identify, where does this course fit into the learning tracks? How can I easily let people know what the course is about, whether they need it, how it fits in? Again, you have to have a standard checklist for all of this. And finally, the access rules for courses. You have a ton of options on how people actually consume your course, even if it's a content course. But how are you going to set it up or provide access levels based on the type of content you're providing, but based on the way that it needs to be taught? Again, super, super, super important stuff. And step 5 of 8, we haven't even created the content yet. No content. Have to do this stuff if you're treating it as a business and not just trying to sell a course. And this is the part that I'm excited about, because in as much as I started off just creating content or just being a content creator, when you go and try and sell your content, it was a lot easier in the early days. In fact, when I first started, people were selling ebooks for $97 US. And those ebooks may have been 47 pages, 50 pages, and it may have been a Word document with no images in it that were exported as a PDF. But people were willing to pay that because there was no way to easily search, or there wasn't the ability to find content, and getting it in one place by someone who had used it or had it as a proven kind of structure to their content, people were willing to pay for that. But later on, as that changes and the information becomes more available, doing all of these pieces that we're talking about are the things that allow you to monetize your processes and information, where you can't just create content and go right to build the course, and especially if it's just a content course. So let's take a look here. We're on number 6. Again, I'm going as fast as I can. We're at 1:43, been 45 minutes. I don't know how long ago. I'll do my best to kind of wrap things up as quickly as possible. But I want to switch back, and I'm just going to go to the live feed for a second, and we'll come back to the map. Here's the real important part that I think that a lot of marketers are missing. And some people say, James, why are you doing these live events? Why are you trying to do live webcasts? Why are you spending an hour here on this particular site? Why do you record everything that you do? And even when we're doing work on the agency side of our business, we're working on someone else's site, or we're working on an internal project, or we're demonstrating for something. If we have the permission to capture and or use it, we'll always capture it, but more importantly, if we can capture it and use it externally, there's a huge value to that. And I am of the firm belief that capturing your digital exhaust, which is part of number 6, the first task that's there. Digital exhaust is the ability to capture everything you do online. And whether that be text that you create, social media posts that you create, videos that you do, try and capture and organize everything that is of value to providing the outcome that you're promising, or the big fat claim that you're promising in your course. And what you capture also fits into, how does this apply, or how do I get this set up so that it works into the topical authority map. And if you're not familiar with those, we have a complete course on those. But that topical authority map is all about, what am I going to be an authority in? What am I going to be seen as the expert in? What part of my business or my agency is the part that I want to be known for? We've picked building out training sites and online courses. So I want to make sure that the digital exhaust that I capture are all the things that are pertinent or appropriate for answering questions that you, the person wanting to create a training site or a membership site, or build an online business selling online courses and information and outcomes, if that is the purpose, we want to capture everything that we do, our digital exhaust, but we also want to be in a good position to actually organize that and use it in a whole bunch of different ways, creating the courses that we're going to provide to people, and next, using it to market our courses and campus and what we're promising. So here's what we're going to do. Building the courses. First thing you're going to do is you're going to capture digital exhaust on a regular basis. The next thing you're going to need to do is you're going to have to know or look at, I have got from my previous steps, I got a course checklist. I have to go and say, okay, I use a mind map that is similar to one that I was just showing you earlier, the one that you're looking at. I have to go and take a look and say, of what I promised in this course, whether it be a micro course, a mini course, a mastery course, I want to go and create a syllabus or the steps that I need to provide to teach or have the learners go through in order for them to get that outcome. You're going to have to create that, and you're going to have to create the content for that. And what I'm talking about here is you're going to go and you're going to say, we're down at number 6 there, build the courses. You're going to have to say, do I require text? Where's the text? I'm going to have to build the text. Does it require audio? Does it require infographics or graphics? Do I need to have an assignment? Do I need a quiz? Do I need all of these pieces to guide people to the outcome I'm promising them? You're going to have to create them. One of the ways to create them is to edit or bundle and unbundle the digital exhaust that you've already captured. Narrating digital exhaust or repackaging digital exhaust is an easy way to create courses, because if you're actually doing this for someone and doing what you're teaching, what it is that you're doing, it's easy to capture it and turn it into a course if you have the digital exhaust, the B-rolls, the scripts, the tips, the tricks that you've captured, put it into these lessons, topics, and build out that map, and then actually create the course. And when I'm talking about instructional design there, I'm talking about, I mentioned it early, is this static content? Is this interactive content? And that's when you get into things like having SCORM compliant contact and different tools to actually build it out. And then, but put it together, all of the different learning styles that we need, whether it be visual, auditorial, kinesthetic, something doing, group coaching, group teaching, live teaching, blended learning, all of these key terms, this is where you're going to put it together and fit it into that syllabus of how you guarantee that outcome. That kind of content, your course content, is the part that you're going back or putting it back into the campus that you've built out, the learning tracks that you've built out, the description that you use, those standard checklists that fit your business model. And at the end of the day, you're going to have to say, okay, I've got my content, my course content's there. How am I going to decide how to give access to that course content? And this goes back to the learning tracks. If I have my course content and I say, you know what, I'll give you an example of where it's important. In this case, I don't want people to go to the set up a campus, step 3, before they've done step 1 and 2. So getting that course created in, getting that, I'm in build courses, my apologies, is configuring the course options. This is what we're talking about when I'm talking about, do they have to take it in order? Can they take it out of order? Do they have to complete assignments or quizzes before they can go to the next step? So it's deciding on how am I going to take those course options and able to deliver it, and how that fits in to all of those other pieces that we've talked about. The last one that's kind of there, that's course options. Talking about the one underneath there is configure badges and scoring. We haven't talked about gamification yet, and in as much as I would like to have this in the community rewards and engagement, step 8, there is a whole section of something called gamification, which encourages engagement and completion of these courses. When you're building out these courses, you have to look at your content and say, where are the times, or what are the lessons and or topics or activities within the course I just created? How do I make sure that I can entice or engage people to continue with the course, and how do I set it up so that I can prove that in fact they've done what they need in terms of learning and also the activities they've been involved in. How do I score their progress through the course? And there's things, there's a whole bunch of different topics in there, but the one that makes it easy for people to understand is the quizzes. So if you have quizzes that are set up and the quiz says you need 100% on this quiz before you can go to the next lesson or the next topic, that's a way to manage the scoring. And you've got to decide, are there quizzes? Are they appropriate at this step? How do I make sure they take the quiz, complete the quiz? What scoring do I have to have them do? And there's a whole science to that. And again, it's based on what's my standard checklist that I've created, but more importantly, where are they in the learning process and the track they're following? So you're going to have to build out those courses. And again, it starts with capturing and organizing your digital exhaust on regular stuff that you do during the day. And if you look back at the last month, it's early in January 2024 when I'm doing this. If I look back at all of the work that I did and captured last year, it's an absolutely huge amount. You're gonna have to make some choices about it. And the one thing that is interesting to me personally is if I look at the amount of content that I captured last year in the form of digital exhaust, that is going to be changing dramatically over 2024. And here's the reason why. The amount of content that is in context to what we're trying to teach, that it's available now on ChatGPT, that content that is available to us is going to make that digital exhaust huge. Because if I go back and I take a look at my ChatGPT prompts, all of the ones that I've used, I've got hundreds of chats that I've had with ChatGPT, but I have to organize those and keep them. So it's not enough to create it with ChatGPT, but you've got to capture what you've created and organize it, because you're going to be using it as you're creating the courses. And I'm not talking about copying and pasting from ChatGPT to a course, but there's obviously ways that you can use ChatGPT to fine-tune or add content with you adding context to the content or things that you've already learned. And you can prompt ChatGPT to actually use your experiences as the way that it's going to reply the content. So in as much as I did 2023, created a lot of digital exhaust, I think that's going to double and triple over the next year. So this is an important step when you're building courses, is to capture it and organize it in a way that makes sense. Now, we use a tool on our agency side of a business called Teamwork. That Teamwork software actually uses a whole kind of section called Teamwork Spaces. And that is, all it is a place to keep, capture, organize all of this content that we have, digital exhaust, but also it helps us keep track of all of our customers' stuff. We also do operating procedures, brand assets, everything is in that Spaces one, but you got to have a way to make sure that you capture and organize it and do that. Now here's the one that I got 7 and 8 that's left. What time is it? 5 minutes to. We've been talking a long time. I've been talking about these 8 steps about building out a campus and doing more than courses or a course, and actually having this as part of your business. Again, I think all of these things are super important. However, if you don't tell anyone about it, you're going to have a great campus, but no students. And that obviously is a huge part of it. And as much as I'd like to say it's number 7 out of these 8 steps, if there was a way that I could do this, this kind of roadmap that we've got here and have it as an overarching or a bubble around it, I kind of would. Now, here is the main piece of marketing your campus and courses. And this goes back to, the reason I don't do it is if I go back to and I take a look at, my business model and how we're actually doing things in step 2 there, pick the business model, what is the campus planning? This is my personal belief, and we're testing it more this year. I've seen it used successfully with our clients. We have not used it as much. I have not used it as much in the right place, but that's changing in 2024. But here's kind of my gist on marketing your course, courses, community, classes, and campus. And it ties into the last piece, which I was talking about, which is building these courses. Remember number 6, capture and organize digital exhaust. Marketing, I think, about these parts of your business is all about content marketing moving forward. And content marketing is about educating your existing audience and or community about all of the different pieces that are involved in their business, their outcome that they're trying for, and helping them grow as people. And again, this could be learning a language or playing guitar. It doesn't matter what it happens to be, but there's always questions around all of this stuff. And every question is unique. And that unique question is something that you answer with your expertise, or at least guide people to an answer with your community's expertise. And that is the key to moving all of this stuff forward, building your business, your campus, and selling your course. The first one is, I think that there's going to be a huge uptake in doing what we're just doing today of streaming live interaction. We're doing kind of a live webcast session. I'm just doing this to go through the 8 steps with you. There's all sorts of live webcasts, whether they be unboxing, interviews. We've actually identified kind of 8 different styles of live webcasts that we're going to be doing. But I think part of the thing that stopped people from doing things like YouTube and were slow to do marketing was the idea that you had to have a perfect video edited document, completely fixed up, graphic done, an infographic. You need to have them professional done. All of this work, and again, it's obviously depending on your branding or kind of business. However, I think the speed at which you can do that is dramatically hampered compared to, can I do a live event? I'll give you an example on LinkedIn. You can go and set up an audio event. I think it's 15 minutes before the event, and you've got an audience of how many people on your LinkedIn account. They even have registration pages where you can capture and download the actual people that are saying, hey, heck yeah, I want to go to your event. But that's a live event. And it can be done talking to someone. It can be done just like this, like we're talking to someone now. Same thing happens on Facebook and YouTube. Again, live events. Zoom makes it easy as a tool to just do a live event. Webinars, all live events that can be marketed either by social media or contacting your existing community. So capturing that live event, having less produced live events, I think is going to be the big part, the key to this at the front end. Capturing the content, back to the digital exhaust, and then using social media to generate interest in the live events. And again, whole area on social media when it comes to courses and campuses. So think of it this way, is I always use an hourglass for marketing. And as much as people talk about a funnel, I think it's more of an hourglass. So at the top of it, you're going to have your live events with registration, and you're going to use social media at the top of the particular campus and what you're trying to do, what you're trying to sell. And then in the middle of this, you're going to have a payment or the first sale for that. And the first sale, of course, is registration. How am I going to get people to register for my events? And or if you're selling a course in a campus, register on my free campus or my free course, but that is kind of the middle of the hourglass. It all narrows to that. How do I capture the email address? That's the very, very first sale that you're going to make. And in fact, the sale is not them buying you, it's me buying the student. That's me purchasing the student, and I'm purchasing an email address by giving them a partial outcome or information that is important to them. So that's the top of the hourglass. That's where that starts, right? We're going to have to use live events and social lead generation to get people to that registration. Once they've been at the registration, the next piece of this is automated email marketing. And again, this is part of the campus. I had it in the other section here. We're talking about marketing automation and additional tools and service. So we got registration for live events and or live events that get social media people that sell this idea of what can I give away in exchange for an email address. And then we have to have a structured way to market to them with email. So think of it as top of the funnel, registration, bottom of the funnel, and guiding people through multiple email paths or tracks based on their activities on your site or with the information that you've created. So 3 keys to marketing it, and that all happens, and it's all structured based on all of the previous steps that we've done. And it's something that you can start early. You don't have to have a course or courses yet to do that, because when you're starting off, in fact, you can create courses based on this live events and the captured content you've got. Huge, huge opportunity, and something that I think people miss out as well. So that's number 7. Number 8, I've been going in 2 hours here. I'm going to skim on this one just because I said I'd go in about 2 hours. We've got this opportunity here. I just lost it. Let's bring it up again. Community rewards and engagement. And here's at the end of the day, I think building the community, people call it tribe, there's all sorts of names for it. The whole idea here is that you need some customers who are passionate about the market or that you are in, and the outcome that you are providing, and their business around that outcome, their passions around that outcome, their feelings around that outcome. If you can create a community of those people, there's a whole bunch of things that happen after that. And specifically, your business will take on a life of your own, which is independent of you in many respects. And what am I talking about here? I'm talking about user-generated content and user-generated marketing. And there's a whole bunch of different ways to do that by giving rewards and encouraging engagement. Gamification, or the ability to make a game out of a path of activities that we outline for someone in our campus or on our campus. There's a whole science to that. And we use Bartle's character theory, which again, is a separate thing, but there's a whole bunch of great psychological tricks that can be used to encourage engagement and sharing and generate using generated content. Feedback and being able to measure it. And here's one other thing I just want to talk about with community rewards and engagement just before I finish up with these 8 steps, is the ability for you to create community is the key to moving forward in your businesses. We've had customers that, for example, follow some of these steps, but focus more on the course and the campus to deliver it, or creating courses and then figuring out how can I host it and what's the technical stuff. And if you are not involved in building out and understanding what is this business model that I'm working in, what is the course planning that I'm doing, how am I going to market it, am I going to be involved personally with the courses, the campus, and the learners, you're not going to be successful. You're going to try and sell a course. You're always going to be selling courses or a course. And if you can wrap your head around this and treating it as a business, and that's part of your business model, and you're counting on building out a renewable stream of income that comes from having these raving fans, or whatever you want to call them, getting this last piece set up is hugely important. And I ask you to take the time to investigate, how do I get towards that holy grail of building the community? And that's really an exciting part, I think, for a lot of people. If they get to there, they can remove themselves to some extent from the business, where in the early days, you have to be involved in your campus, in your courses on a regular basis to answer the questions. But as you get people who become experts because they've learned what you've taught, they have a great opportunity to be able to share their additional knowledge based on what you've taught them to the other members of your campus. And if you think about this, and just kind of wrap up, if we go on this and you take a look at a particular school or a university, which is what I modeled this after, is There's learning paths in a university, right? You may have a particular learning path based on the outcome that you want. If you want to be an engineer, if you want to be an accountant, if you want to be an architect, you go to a particular school that has the courses and or the learning tracks that allow you to get to that outcome. You also usually go to the school, or you try and go to the school that has the best reputation based on the campus and the people in the campus and the instructors who have a set course, set content, and a way of delivering it. So this is exactly the same as building your own university, your own learning campus. And again, you can create your own learning campus and host it yourself. You can have it as a service and add it to your course. It all has to do with whether or not I'm going to say, hey, I want to sell a course, or hey, I want to build an education business. Hey, I just have one course, or B, I have courses and I have some outcomes I want to promise to people, and I want to share my experience with them other than just creating a course. So make these decisions early and then follow the steps. Go through the 8 steps and you're going to be amazed and delighted at how they start taking a life of their own once you've done the early work. The hard part of this, the very hard part of this, and the one that gets missed all the time, is step 1 and step 2. Doing that planning and figuring out how this course and or campus or community or classes, all of those C's we talked about, how do they fit in? Do number 1 and 2 first. If you need help, book a call with me, book a call with one of our account managers, and you're going to be guided through that, and we'll take a look and see how we can help you make those choices. If you don't, selling courses is fine. I'm just going to tell you, it's really, really hard unless you have an outstanding way of promising an outcome and not just great content, and you're able to deliver it on a regular basis. And again, this is the other thing that's here, is if I take a look at the university, the campus model, what I'm talking about here, a campus does not show up one quarter and then disappear. A campus does not show up for a year and then no longer become available. Once you start a school, once you start a campus, once you get this going, it is something that takes on a life of its own and can have multiple instructors if you want, that can have different faculties or groups, that can have different places for people to hang out based on the groups that they're interested in doing, that can have TAs or teaching assistants, that can bring new instructors in. Again, this is all stuff that is part of an e-learning business as opposed to selling a course. And again, this is where I think the market is going. There's going to be some people who are just going to try and sell courses. I think they're going to struggle still. If you want to take some time on this and at least take pieces of it, please do that. Again, you don't have to have a complete campus, but at least follow the tracks, and it's going to help you sell the main course that you're trying to create, or the main outcome that you're trying to provide. So, holy mackerel, went an hour and 10 minutes. Didn't expect to, but this is what we teach at trainingsites.io, a mastery course on it. This is the stuff that you're going to have to do if you're serious about e-learning and education business. I would love to help you with this. So visit the site, join it for free, book a meeting with me, download this blueprinter map, and we'll do our best to help you go through that journey. So free course site review, all sorts of stuff is available for you there. I'm just going to bring this in for landing, say thanks again, take care, and expect the best.